Hey, happy rainy Auckland if you're in New Zealand. Not sure what it's like for the rest of the country or wherever it is in your world that you're listening into. Just we'll talk just for a little minute while we're waiting to see other people jump on the live stream today. To be honest with you, I'm actually quite nervous about being online today. Not nervous, I feel a little bit. You can see behind me, I've got a Be Bold, Be Brave, Be You. And there's a reason why I'm sitting behind this today. So yesterday I put out a post that I've now actually taken down, and I'll tell you why I didn't want to stand up to people who disagreed with what I had written. I wrote a post out of impulse. I was feeling good. I'd had a great session with a client. She's just doing amazing, and I felt just this surge of like excitement, and I posted. And I used some quite strong language, and you know me, I do drop the F-bomb, and I dropped it quite big on this post. Some of you may have already seen it, and I've taken it down now, and look, it offended some people, and I totally get that kind of language offends people, right? I totally know that. Like, that is just, I know that. But what I wasn't prepared for, and I was kind of excited, I was like, yes, I've got my first hater, woohoo! It means I'm on the road to success, because we all don't agree with each other. I don't like certain things that you like, and we have differences of opinions, and I totally respect that. But I think the cool thing with the page is, though, if you don't like what I'm saying, don't follow me. And I know that's an obvious thing, but what happens is even if you don't follow the page post still pops up in news feeds. And so someone said to me, oh, could you use some more respectful English? You know, basically saying, did I have to use such strong languaging? And I thought, and I was going to reply and say, hey, totally get your viewpoint. That's cool that you have your viewpoint and I've got my viewpoint. And so it's just an opinion based. And it definitely was not meant to offend anyone. That's not where I was coming from. I'm never coming from that kind of place. But then someone else started to pop on and was like, oh, it's because you're uneducated. And I thought to myself before I went to sleep last night, do I really, really want to feed and be part of, for some weird reason, attracting some people who didn't like how I was speaking, and then I was going to have to disempower myself to defend myself, to say why I was saying what I was saying and how I said it. And I was like, you know what, I'm actually just going to take the post down, not because I don't believe in what I wrote and I don't not care. I actually cared more for myself and the fact that I could have been taken down a path of being, I suppose, and I know that I'm making this bigger than it has become, but we know on social media it can become something bigger. Where it would have been back in the old days, I could have been led to the stake, burnt at the stake, or had a public stoning. That is kind of where I felt it was going to head. And I thought, I do have a lot of clients that even though they know I swear, I would hate for them to be worried about their association with it. So for them and for my sake, in my way of I actually don't want to have to defend myself. You don't even like my page. Why are you on my thread? I took it down. And so there is one aspect of when you do go put yourself out there, is you are going to attract some people who are totally going to disagree with how you voice it. And I think it's just about you having your own boundaries about what are you going to tolerate around that. Are you going to tolerate people telling you that, well, it's actually not okay that you said it like that? But that's actually not what my thread is about today. My thread was about wanting to tell you that story around, so today it's brought up resistance for me. I'm like, oh, wow, does it mean I've watered myself down by taking the post down? Do I now have to water around what I'm saying? And you can fall into stories again, right? And that's where journaling is so important, to go back to your messaging. But what I wanted to talk about today was, how do you sell to your friends? So what happens when you first start out in business is you attract people who already know you and like you, right? And then they actually really love what you're doing. And they're like, babe, I want to buy your stuff. It's so cool. You're so amazing. How do I sign up? But what happens is we go, oh, you're my friend. I don't want you to have to pay money or all of the money for my services. So you discount, you say, I'll just do it for you for free, and you fall into this your money mindset. So I've got a client that this happened to recently. She's literally just put herself out there and has attracted a friend of hers who's like, babe, I really love your stuff. And she's like, shit, Nat, how do you sell to your friend? Like, what do I charge her? And I'm like, this is the really cool test, because your friend hasn't come to you because they want you to give it to them free. They've come to you because they really love what you're doing and they can see that you can make a difference for them. So most likely they're not even thinking about, I'm going to go to you because you're going to give me a discount. They want to come to you because they want to get the end result you're saying you can give people. So if you go and discount, you actually disempower yourself, because you're almost saying to them, I kind of don't quite believe in it yet, so I'm going to give it to you half price. Or because you're my friend, I'm going to give it to you for 20% less. That's not the reason they've come to you, but that's the reason in your head you're possibly telling yourself. So make sure with your friends, I'm not saying, yeah, go charge them full price and they don't have mates rates. The problem is your first 20 clients probably will be your mates. So that's where you've got to have that respecting relationship with your friends and say, and I challenge you to not give them a discount, but instead value add. So say to them, cool, my session's $197, but I'd love to be able to give you, refer another, hey Joel, how are you? I'd love to give you another session. I want to give you another 30 minutes, or I've got a workshop coming up. I'd love to give it to you, for half price. So don't just drop the price straight away. Like, go in. This is where you get to test your self-belief and your self-worth, and go in and say, hey, it's this. If you refer a friend though, this and this can happen. So I wish I had done that when I first started out, because a lot of people who worked with me at the beginning were my friends, right? So I discounted so much that I did that by default to people who came in and bought from me anyway. So pricing for friends, look, by the time you go to sell to someone, they have bought from you because they know, like, and trust you. So generally they are your friends by the time they come to buy from you, usually, okay? It's not set in stone. But so going forward, start with the end in mind and don't discount to your friends. Don't have mates rates. Be really careful. But what you can do for your mates is offer like a payment plan. Like, if you know that your mate, don't get sucked into their money story. Don't assume they don't have the money. You can offer a payment plan. Okay, so there's different ways in value adding down to your friends. The other thing I wanted to talk about today, unless you've got any questions, please chuck them at me, or if you've got any other viewpoints. So apart from how do you sell to your friends, what happens when you go out online and put yourself out there is you're going to attract people who totally don't like how you're doing your thing. It's up to you whether you involve, how far you get involved, how much you fuel it, and do not disempower yourself. I chose to protect myself last night by taking my post down, because I will not put up with someone telling me who I am and what they think I stand for, and how dare someone tell me that I'm not educated enough. And it was starting to become extremely, it's extremely rude, and I can just see how our shit online gets out of control really quick. So I was like, no way, I'm taking this down. Yeah, exactly, Joel. Real friends pay full price, but what happens, hopefully you agree, is we hamstring it and we go, just pay half price, because we feel we get caught in that because we want to be mates, like, I'll buy this round kind of thing. The third thing I wanted to talk about, and I often say this, and I know it's a little bit of repetition for some of you, is we all feel resistance, right? So even though you're like, Nat, you just jump on live every day and you give us a message, I'm like, do you not think before I jump on live that I don't have some resistance, some self-belief, some kind of, great aunt fear, some kind of whatever shit turns up? I do. But because I know what it is, I'm like, cool. Hey, self-belief. Hey, great aunt fear. I don't have time for you today. I know that I can help one person today, because that's all I ever aim for. One person, ripple effect. I'm going to help them. Let's just go do this. This is a message I want to get out there, and I go and do it. And it's the same with journaling. I preach that you do business journaling to help you in your biz. Man, some days that's tough. Some days I sit there and I go, oh, this is so frustrating. And it's a little bit like going out for some exercise, right? Once you're in the middle of it, you're like, this is so cool. I love that I did this. I love that I showed up. So that's just my message for you today, is that everyone, no matter where you think we sit on this success race, please don't put us on pedestals, because we're actually only the relative experts to you, which means what you see in me, you have in you. It's about getting you to get it out of you. Is that we all have resistance. Most days there's some form of resistance for all of us. It's a matter of recognizing it. Like yesterday, I actually hopped in bed with some resistance, and I was like, I'm going to go with the resistance today. Sometimes when you push, it's not the right thing to do. So when you pull back a little bit, you can actually see a little bit more clearer. This is from Sonia. Social media and online attracts a lot of trolls. Hard sometimes to take the comments and say, yeah, it's so interesting, Sonia. I didn't take it to heart, but I didn't want to wake up in the morning and have like this out of control, crazy conversation that was actually unnecessary and didn't have to happen. And so I did that for the protection purely of myself, to go, you know what? Fuck you. So if they're listening to this, they're probably going to be like, is there not a nicer word you could have used? Probably, but to get the message out there, I just use that. So do not trick yourself that you will ever escape fear, resistance, self-belief, self-sabotage, self-doubt, all of this new family, the family of overwhelm, which you get when you sign up for self-employment, entrepreneurship. You get this family. You don't have a choice. It's about learning to live with them, and learning to and understanding that they aren't you, that your truth is always your soul. And so when you journal and business journal your why, your reason, why you're here to help others, why you're here to impact the world, why you don't go back to the security of a job, why you do what you do, you then want to get up from the breakfast table and leave self-sabotage with the cereal and milk. Like, you just go, cool, time's up, we're out of here, let's go. So I really want to keep it real for people to know that it never leaves you. It's just that you spend less time there. That's all for today, peeps. I just wanted to say, hey, this is how you sell to your friends. You show them your menu. You don't show them the discount board. You give them some extra value by saying, hey, I'd love to give you an extra half an hour or whatever. And you always ask for referrals. You teach people how to treat you. Taking down the post and charging what you're worth are simply good boundaries. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Joe. Exactly, boundaries. And it's often boundaries which can actually show up in resistance, right? Because sometimes putting boundaries up can sometimes doesn't feel good at the time when you're putting them there, right? So, cool interaction today. How fun. Unless you have any other questions, I'm going to let you go, let me go, because we've all got work to do in our business. I'm all about taking imperfect action. So get out there, get your message out there today. Keep expanding, keep the momentum going. It keeps people in front of you, you in front of people. Stay well. Plenty of crazy bugs out there, right? A couple of sick children home today. So lots of love to everyone.